And I'm standing there, and right as the railing turns 90 degrees and comes right to me, I'm forgetting that I'm actually there. I'm forgetting that my hand is on the railing, and these two squirrels are chasing, the big squirrel's chasing the little one. They make the turn. They're not focused on me at all until they get right to my hand. And the first one, the little red one, it's like a cartoon, stops dead in his tracks and goes, ah! And then jumps off of the railing. And then the big one keeps coming along. He does the same thing. And they both go different ways up trees. And I was just remarking that I actually kind of lost track of myself there for a second. I didn't even realize my hand was there until it was almost too late, because that little red squirrel would have just tore my hand up. He would have had me on the ground, and I would have been wrestling around. The ambulance would be taking me away right now, and Orzo just sat there watching, and I was just realizing just how peaceful it was. And I really didn't mean any harm to the little guy. I mean, it's a battle we do, but it's kind of like foghorn leghorn, and the little chicken hawk baby, It's just they always just have to chase each other. That's just the deal. And I'm like that with the red squirrels. Perhaps you are too. But and then I took my coffee out and I sat in a chair down in the grass with Orzo. And Orzo did his Orzo thing on his back, and he curled up in a little O, and I rubbed his belly. And I just said, there's no better place to be in the world. And then, so it's the perfect morning so far, right? It's just perfect. And I've forgotten all the news. I've forgotten all the things that I could or could not do. I've forgotten, that my hands hurt. I've forgotten all of that. And I'm just so thankful to be in the cool of the day. Even as the smoke starts to come in, I'm not worried about anything. And then I look over, and I see all the hosta plants that we have quartered. If you take a hosta plant that gets to be as big as a Volkswagen, and they say if you cut them in 4 pieces, I think you told me this originally, Pam, the gardener, you cut them in 4 pieces and you replant them. They're smaller, they get a chance to breathe, but then now you've got 4 of them the size of a Volkswagen. And I've been quartering these things for 25 years. And they're taking over everything, which is wonderful ground cover. But I started to realize how beautiful they were. And I thought, I'll just continue this wonderful reverie, until I noticed there's a weed that looks like a hosta plant, except it's got these long, long vine trails that go through all of them. And I started looking at them, and they were everywhere through my hostas. And I thought, well, after I finish my coffee, Orzo and I were going to have to go do a little weeding. This is true. This happened. So I get up and I go over there and I start pulling these things. And it's not too hard to figure out which one is weed and which one is hosta, but the stalks look just like a hosta stalk. So you got to find the leaf, and then you follow it down. And does this happen to any of you with hostas? Yeah? And I go down and I pull it, and it's just like a telephone line. And then you keep pulling, and I had a big pile of them. Next thing I knew, a half an hour had gone by, and all I could see everywhere were those weeds. And I had lost all the peace that I'd had. And the dog had gone in back to bed. And all I could see was, I hope I can get back before it gets too hot so I can finish the job of getting those little guys. Then I realized I had just embodied the parable completely. You see what you focus on, right? If you want to take a picture of something up close on a leaf, it's hard to do because the camera wants to focus on the background, and here it goes back and forth. Stand further apart. You stand further apart, you can't see what you want to take a picture of. If you focus on the weeds, it's all you'll see. If you focus on what's wrong, That's all you will do. And you will spend all of your time doing that. There's a lot of work to be done. There's a lot of witnessing to do. We have to stand up and say to the weeds, enough. We do. But if that's all we do, I'm just glad I didn't go out there, not have the squirrel encounter, not have the peaceful encounter with my dog in the grass, but go straight to the weeds, which is, by the way, what I do most days. I get up and I get right to work. What's on the agenda? What's got to happen here? And then I get going. And I forget completely that we're living in one of the most amazing planets. If we found this planet right now through a telescope, through the James Webb, we'd be astounded. We'd be overjoyed. We live on it. And it gives us everything we need. And we yawn. So we have to celebrate that. Yeah, the boundary waters are on fire. Fire is a natural thing that happens on the planet. Not to this level. Something's gone haywire. It's really true. But in the meantime, we're here. And there's something to be said for letting the weeds be. Let them be. And at the end of the day, they'll be separated out. And that's where Martin Luther was really good with this. We're all weeds and wheat. It's called simul, saint and sinner, every one of us. So who's going to be separated out at the end? Well, I sure hope the part of me that's angry is all get out at those little red squirrels. And I can realize that the red squirrel really has a place to be here. I don't know what it is yet. Maybe it's living with mosquitoes. Maybe the two of them can go off into their own paradise. But there's a reason for them. And I can't see it when all I'm focusing on is the damage that they're doing. I wonder if their little eyes look at me the same way. Only looking at me for the damage that I do on the planet. I wonder if every species does that. In the meantime, I think they got a rise out of almost being encountered by a giant. And they didn't see me as somebody that would destroy them, which they may not be wrong. So how do we, in the cool of the day, when cooler heads prevail, celebrate? You know, it's like fear not is what Jesus keeps saying. Fear not. Fear not. Don't focus on where you don't want to go. Focus on where you want to go. If you keep looking at the weeds, that's all you will do. And your garden will never be perfect. So the master who's got the fields that have been infiltrated with all these weeds, he's got it right. Just let it be. Let it be. It'll work itself out. And of course, all the gardeners out there say, I'm not sure about that.
That's right.
Every parable has a point, and you can't run it all the way to the end in every case. But the point is, we've got a lot to celebrate. We've got a lot of goodness and a lot of hope. We really do. And sometimes we need to remember that over and over again, and that's why it's good to be with you after just a rough couple weeks that continue to just barrel on. It's good to see you. It's good to be here, and it's good to enjoy the garden outside. And yeah, and afterwards, if we go downstairs, we've got coffee and we got some treats, and we'll take some video of some stories. If you guys have stories about where a neighbor has helped you, we're wanting to make this video, and we're going to try that today downstairs, just to get the wheels turning, and not where you've helped somebody, but where somebody's helped you, and when you've really been in need, right? It's like Bill over there. You know, you got out of the hospital, and your feet are doing better now. Your legs. He went in for one leg that was bothering him, and they said, forget that one. The other one's even worse. There were people there to help. We've got to let them. You got to let them. If we don't, well, we just don't. There are people here to help, so we need to let them. So we'll do that afterwards. I'm done. I'm dismounting. I'm finishing. I'm not going into any other points and parts. The texts are all quite amazing today, but pretty to the point. So all you weeders out there, just sit down, come and get my dog. He would really happy if you get away from me for a while. And in the cool of the day, play with him. Amen. Amen.